Okay, so anyways, I'm going to ask the trivia question now. So you got to post your Twitter handle and you got to post the answer to this. The question: what was the name of the person who created Galio?
Whoa.
What was that guy's name? So you're going to post your Twitter handle and you're going to post your answer. And if you're not following both casters and the stream, you are not susceptible to the gift.
Yeah.
Okay? So we're going to reset all of these here, and I'm going to keep my eye out in chat to see who's going to win.
I don't even know the context of it. Like, are you asking for like an artist? Or is it like a lore thing?
It's a lore thing. It's a lore thing.
Okay.
Somebody, because Galio is like a gargoyle brought to life.
Oh.
So I want to know who
I thought he
created
was
it.
the guy that found out the world is round.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
That's the joke.
Oh
I
God.
bet you it was like,
Huh?
I want to say it because I don't think it's right, but I don't want to give the answer.
What's
but-
his
you
name
can't
start
give
with?
the answer for that.
S.
No.
Okay.
Were you
I was
thinking
gonna say,
Swain?
I was like Soraka.
Oh, Soraka.
Some weird,
Created a book of
she's-
Discord.
She's into some freaky shit. Definitely somebody that I would not mind spending the night with. that horn though.
Let's see.
We should get some
Yeah,
Soraka
fine,
cosplayers
fine.
over here.
Yeah, we should. If you're cosplaying right now, if you happen to be watching this and cosplaying as LeBlanc in the Deceiver skin, if you could please just come on by, that'd be great. No, I'm getting friend requests already. Oh no, I'm not. Never mind. Whoop. Okay, so we do have some of the bans coming out here. Kale has been banned, and even when Kale was available, she wasn't
Did
picked.
Kale do it? Was it Kale?
No, it wasn't.
Oh, okay. I was so
It's actually,
excited.
it's not even a character in the game.
Oh, really? Okay.
It's just the
I
name
have
of
no
just
idea.
some guy.
Then.
Yeah.
Was it the Tryndamere guy?
Or was it the
Dustin
Zelnaga?
Beck?
It was the Zelnaga. Actually, the Zelnaga created everything.
Everything.
So, have you read the books? Oh
I
God,
should have read the book.
they're really good actually. Okay, so
Are there LoL books yet?
no,
It seems like there should be LoL books.
I
They
feel like
actually
there should
gave
be.
up on the lore for a long time.
Yeah, they did.
Huh?
It's so stupid. They have like this is the lore for each character, just like a little paragraph or two.
Mhm.
Okay,
Some flesh it.
Jace coming out here. Interestingly enough, so OMG, I got ganked. I am almost 100% sure he's going to be playing Rumble.
They banned Mystique.
Yeah, they banned Mystique. So Evelyn's going down, Cassidon's down, as is Ziggs. And Karthus, Kale, and Braum. Lots of K bans. Now Ion's kind of scrolling around here. Now Ion's actually, if I'm not mistaken, Ion's was actually playing... I know he was playing Inland ETS, but I can't remember whether his team won or came second.
It was Armada Gaming.
He was on Armada?
Yeah.
Okay, so he actually won, and he had a big dispute with who was that? There's somebody that had played on his team previously. I can remember the old team names, but I can't remember his. Oh, Diamond. He was playing with Diamond, and they had a big dispute, and they're both support players. So Ion's coming into this one, very well known, at least in my books, for his support play. It's pretty ridiculous. By the way, nobody in the chat has answered
nobody
yet.
knows the answer to your question.
Jesus.
It's too difficult.
I'm gonna mystery gift myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds dirty.
I'm thinking it's gonna be like that.
Actually, the reason I started asking this trivia question was because I did it first on CSL, and the guy's name is very, very similar to the owner of CSL's name. Yeah. Do you know who that is?
Well, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You add a D to his name, to the end of his name.
Okay.
Yeah. That's it.
Someone asked what the question was.
So the question is, and okay. So before you answer the question, you need to be following us on the stream. Yeah, follow us on the stream. Follow us on both the Twitter handles that are going to be posted in chat here in just a second by Tony Baloney, and you'll be eligible. Those are the Twitter handles. You need to post your Twitter handle and the answer to the question: who created Galio? What was the guy's name? Who brought Galio to life? Anyways, we should probably talk about these picks and bans here.
Yeah, I'm curious about where this Jarvan's going, honestly, because he's such a strong soul laner now. And if it is a Ryze that they picked Ryze and a Jarvan, that is insanely brave. But these are two very good teams, and they know what they're doing. So,
Yeah, tough to question it. By the way, this is the second last best 2 games.
No, it's the third round now.
Third out of 5.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, so we're dead center here. Oh, and we do have a winner. It looks like Transpiercer.
Right.
Pretty sure that's the first. Yeah, Transpiercer. I remember that guy. Transpiercer gets it. It is Durand. Durand is the creator of Galio. Transpiercer, I'm going to be mystery gifting you relatively soon. I think that means I have to add him as a friend, though. That means I have to delete somebody from my friends list.
He's gonna say what his
Yeah, actually,
Twitter
you don't technically win yet. You need to put your Twitter handle in.
Twitter, so you can verify you follow the people.
Yeah.
So we can coerce you into following.
So he's still not susceptible to winning.
Oh man, there's all these champions here that I didn't expect to be played.
All right, so oh my goodness, so Draven's still available here. It's just that first time Draven isn't in this game. Yeah, that's your in-game name. I need your Twitter handle. Oh, there we go. Perfect. Perfect. Okay, so we're seeing. Give me my skin, dude. This guy's getting so hardcore. I don't know if I like that.
So handsome.
You'll be winning. Don't worry about it. But we will be giving you that. I unfortunately can't give it to you now because we're going in game. But you will be winning your prize after the game, man. Why do I know? Why do I know who Transpiercer is?
He's a player. I don't remember exactly.
He used to be on Nexus Gaming. He played with Zing.
Oh, there we go. Guy's getting pretty hardcore. All right, so taking a look at some of these characters, though, it will be. Sorry.
Did you guys give up on the map?
No, I'm working on it.
No. Yeah, we're trying to fit everybody in here. So Jace is on the map, as is Jarvan, and we have to assume that Jarvan's going to be going to the jungle and Jace top lane, as the rest of the map kind of fills out pretty nicely here, and it's going to be Thresh, Graves in the bottom lane. I actually love seeing Graves, by the way. Anybody else?
Great, see that.
It's just that you see Lucian so often. Jinx was around for a really long time. Caitlyn is a really good champion, but kind of boring to watch in lane. But Graves, man, he's got such great turnaround potential. If somebody gets on top of you, your damage just gets increased, right? Because you can hit them with 3 rounds of your buckshot. So seeing that come out is pretty nice. And Twisted Fate as well. So Twisted Fate is something we haven't seen banned or picked. But Mr. Jiggly feels pretty confident, and he's going to be running Ghost and Flash. Cool. I like it.
What am I missing?
Successfully follows
Rise.
all 3.
Where you at, Rise?
We almost have our LoL client fit perfectly into our overlay here. Not quite yet, but we've been working on it. Every round we get that a little bit closer. Okay. So who do you think is the least likely champion that we're going to see in this tournament? Bottom 3.
Shaco.
Shaco, bottom 3?
Shaco, Garen, and...
No.
Shaco, Garen, and... Valkaz.
I'm going to go with Misfortune.
Yo, MF is great right now.
Nope. Misfortune,
Where is Rise?
Anivia.
Yo, I love Anivia.
Yeah, you do.
That's my jam.
And Skarner.
Yeah, that's a good call. Yo, so I can't not find this Rise. I do not know what happened to him. I swear I had him up here.
I ate him.
Did you really? Don't do that.
It's too late, man. I just told you. This system's really tough. We need to have somebody on this. This is really tough. Although, you know what? I'll bet you could probably sell these. Bet you could.
I need them more.
I finally get it done and you took it off the screen. Okay.
Oh yeah, nice. Okay, so Orianna coming into this one. So Orianna currently has a 0% win rate. And a lot of that comes down to just the team not following up. Either the Orion ultimate misses or the whole rest of the team misses. It's one or the other, and or both. So we have yet to see that work out for her. But this time around, she's got 3 pretty decent ball carriers. And I would even argue that Graves wouldn't be a terrible ball carrier either, because he can get in there with his passive. And he's a pretty tanky ADC.
They've got some good wombo, and 2 of the carries, counting Rise as a carry, are somewhat immobile. They're both pretty quick with Ghost and Rise ulti. But she has the potential of getting a really nice wombo with like a Jace, EQ, Graves ult, and Jarvan going in. So
Yeah.
if she gets a nice one, it could definitely change the fight.
Yeah, there's a lot of AoE burst on this team as well.
The things that I really like coming from Purple Team is that it was matched last time that they played a Jace. They rushed the coin,
Yep.
but they took Karma so that they can give like the AoE move speed to counter and in a lot of ways mirror what the Jace is going to be doing with his E. Because it is a very potent thing, honestly. It allows you to decide where you want to fight, when you want to fight, you know, stuff like that. Like
Yep.
helps with rotations, that kind of thing. So,
Yep.
it's good picks.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Well, the one thing that's kind of weirding me out though is Twisted Fate. I mean, he's been pretty popular actually. A lot of people are starting to play him a little bit more, but he is the character that I've seen fail mechanically with his changes to especially his W, where his card just dissipates after a short period of time. I've seen so many fails happen at high level of play. I am kind of not looking forward to it, honestly.
The trick to it is to select your card while you're in your gate.
Yeah.
When you're teleporting, and that way that you pretty much guaranteed to have it stick when you get there.
Yeah.
But if you can play him well, he's still one of the best champions in the game by far.
Yeah.
You know.
And we got the board finished.
Hey.
So it's gonna be Jarvan in the jungle up against Elise. Now you were talking a lot about Elise here and Docta putting on a clinic.
Yeah, he did pretty well last game. Well, I wasn't like super impressed. He didn't do any of the kind of plays that he did last time. Last time I saw him play, Elise, but I expect it. He's insanely mechanically skilled in that champion. So.
Not to mention it's we're in Canada, so it's a free clinic.
Exactly.
Yeah. Does not cost.
And Zig playing a real AD carry this time.
Yep. All right, so we're looking pretty good here. Love the J skin. I think that's his best skin.
Something to note: the Thresh did take Ignite, and that is against the TF as well. So that could come back to bite them in the butt if they get ganked from a TF and he doesn't have exhaust.
Yeah, that is actually really true. Really good point there. And TF is looking like he wants to play very aggressively here with that Ghost Flash, or defensively if he needs it. So he's got both options, but he's not going to be able to net any kind of kills or anything like that. And we do have a pause coming in here. Beautiful sepia tones. Really nice.
My favorite.
Instagram.
And you got the Lubu Jarvan, of course, coming out here. So I'm actually going to keep an eye out, too, to see if Jarvan's flag with this skin is the same thing, if it's his actual, if it's his, like, lance. What kind of weapon is that? Is it a lance?
I think it's just like a really big sword lance thing.
It's like a halberd.
Yeah, but not. But yeah.
This is important. We asked the important questions here on Esports Canada TV. By the way, this is probably the highest level game happening in Canada for probably this whole month.
I would agree with you totally.
Like, legitimately. So, tell your friends, tell your wife, bring them all out here. Although, if you're watching the stream, probably don't have a wife.
Or friends.
Or
Just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I'm just kidding. We're a bunch of nerd burglars over here. All right, so moving into this one, we actually, you know what? I believe it's Lucian and Grave that actually have a pretty good lore to their background too, isn't it?
You're asking the wrong guy, man.
Lucian and Graves? Anybody?
Oh, yeah, totally. Because they used to.
It's Lucian Thresh.
Lucy, yeah, Lucy. Oh no, it's Twisted Fate Graves,
Yeah.
which is actually going to be great here. So Twisted Fate's going to be all over Graves if he can get a good teleport off on that bottom lane. One problem though for TF is that his kit, he's just been nerfed so hard. His problem is that he can't hold his own as much in lane, and he can't wave clear as well. So he's just going to be taking a beating, and if he can't wave clear, that means he can't really gank and get that ultimate off. I know I played a game with Twisted Fate recently, and I just couldn't get the wave cleared, so I used my ultimate like twice in the whole game, and that was in teamfight phase. It's just really tough.
See, the thing, one of the reasons that I feel like TF is back in the meta is because if you are fortunate enough to get the 4v0 and you have that 1v1 mid lane, he does okay because he has good push. He's got good lane sustain with his blue card, obviously, and he can just play the lane that way. It's not that he's a bad laner. He's okay. He's got like pretty good harass on a lot of champions, but it's just so easy to take advantage of him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's why you want to have the just the 1v1 lane. You don't have to worry about a jungler. You don't have to worry about anything like that. You can just do your thing, push, and yeah.
Absolutely.
So we'll see if because like obviously Jarvan's a really strong early ganker, especially against someone like TF that doesn't have any movement abilities. So it could really be a hard time for him. The only thing is that Orianna isn't that great for assisting with ganks. If it was something like a Syndra or an Ahri or something like that,
Yeah.
that'd make it a big deal. But
Yeah, for sure. See how that all plays out. I mean, obviously, one thing that we were noting earlier in Champion Select, as we do get back into this one, is that Orianna, man, she needs to show herself to be a strong choice because as of right now, she is not doing so hot in this tournament.
yeah, it's true.
And she's like the epitome of a team player mid lane. Like, you do not choose Orianna to like solo queue for the most part.
Yeah.
You got to get in there and make team fights happen and make them go in your team's favor if you're going to be playing this champion. And she starts things off with command attack, actually. I know a lot of players have been favoring your command protect at level 1 because you get those extra resistances. Plus, your auto attack's going to be better than most mid laners.
I think the thing that she was thinking is probably that she wants to counteract the push that CF wants to put in on it.
Yep.
So having the Q allows her to push the wave back and get that earlier level 2. But absolutely, it's very matchup dependent. But starting that shield is really good, especially against things like LeBlanc, where she's got like a really long cooldown, and you can abuse her with your shield if you use it properly.
Pause number 3.
Yeah.
The one thing actually we haven't really talked about too much is the fact that Karma's in the bottom lane. Karma Lucian, gross.
Yeah.
Karma does way too much damage, especially if she starts with some ability power, which, taking a look at the screen that we have on now, 37 ability power to start things up, and that's just with that little Spell Thief's Edge. So it's going to be tough, man.
Yeah, she can pretty much 1v2 lanes. She's such a good support. So abusive. Especially against someone low range with the Brave, right?
Yeah, but the problem is she does have to go up against Ions here on Thresh, and with this level 2, from this point onwards, you always have to be concerned about getting hooked up, because they just have such a great fight potential to turn things around here. But we're seeing so much poke. It's just stupid from these guys.
Yeah. Neither side really has sustain either, so it's lasting poke as well. We do see both the junglers moving up top lane. Wards were dropped. I'm not sure if they saw both sides, if both junglers saw the wards.
Yeah, and
the Ryze is definitely aware that the Jarvan is there.
yeah, and of course, as it would be Elise, OMG, I got ganked, is level 2. Does not want to live up to his name here and actually get ganked, but he is taking a lot of poke underneath this turret here. He is up against the Jace, after all, who deals so much damage from range, and he's been pushing in the lane here, so you can see getting right up under his turret, 19 to 10 CS, and Ryze has not CS'd in the last 30 seconds, so he's having a tough time. But he's now taking it down. Nice gank up on this mid lane here. Command attack into dissonance there is going to do work on Mr. Jiggly, sends him right back home. And again, he doesn't have teleport, he doesn't have anything like that, so he's going to be walking all the way back with just the second Doran's ring, so he really wants to be able to make it through lane phase.
With both junglers are playing really well. Elise is following the Jarvan and preventing him from kind of accelerating the early advantage that the lanes have. Like, you saw him top looking to make that dive on Ryze, and that would have been really good. Ryze would have been in a lot of trouble if he had been able to get that dive off and miss a full wave. And like we were talking about, the TF getting a lot of pressure put on the lake. You see Jarvan going bottom. See if he can get anything here.
Here he goes, flag and drag. Oh, but a beautiful slide away. And a really nice flay backwards as well, but Karma just way too much damage. Dragon Raider actually getting turned on, and this is honestly just a brutal 2v3 here, happening as Normalized and Signature just winning the exchange, dealing more damage across the board here to 3 characters, and Karma just shelling out those Qs.
Yeah, that's pretty much what happens when you miss all your abilities, unfortunately. Could have been played better, but also really well played by Red Side here.
Good job there, and in the end, it's going to look like 3 characters being sent home here with Graves, Thresh, and Jarvan. Jarvan needs to, I think, be a little bit more, or actually, I think he just needs to be have a little bit better communication with his team and let them know what he's planning on doing here, because that clearly didn't work out. His team was not right behind him in that gank attempt.
Yeah, missed hook, unfortunately.
And actually, I missed Q up in the top lane there as well.
Yep.
Which is not feeling so good for this Jace.
Yeah, the item advantage definitely goes to Jace right now. However, of course, like, Ryze just trades a lot harder if he's able to kind of force the trades. If he's allowed to manipulate the minion wave and kind of block the E's and Q's. Like, that's the thing about Ryze, right? Like, all of his damage is guaranteed. It's not skill shots. And that's one of the reasons a lot of people spec defensive on him. We got a fight going on here, though.
Yeah, Dragon Raider finding Doctor here, and Anda's going to be the first one to get to this one. Flag and drag after the repel. First blood going down to Jarvan here, and it's going to be OMG. I got ganked on the run. Q coming out there, and he's not going to take too much damage. Not the best situation coming out there. In fact, Doctor still has flash available, so he didn't expect to take that much damage. Signature gets pulled here by Ions, and Tails not backing up Ions here. He got some damage off, but he decided to play it passive, and again, that's the sign of, I think, a top-level player. He should have gotten in there and fought for his support, but you gotta be safe, you know what I mean? Top-level play means farming better than your opponent.
Yeah, they did have sight on the jungler top lane there, so that could have been a mistake if you thought that the jungler was around, but I definitely see what you're saying. It was a very risky trade, and he wasn't ready to commit that hard for sure.
One important thing to note here as well is that with Thresh taking Targons to start, he's actually going to have kind of a small heal added to his kit every time he gets one of those last hits. Nice hook going out, but a better slide to counter that out. So Ion's actually not just the engage, not just the tankiness and utility, but the heals as well.
This Rise is pretty funny, man. He doesn't ever go for tier. He likes just getting the shroud right away.
There's the slow coming out. Ion's going to get cocooned up here, and Lucian on the back foot here, dealing a lot of damage. Flay, hook, normalize, just way too low. Tails, is he going to go down? Zig flashing forward, and Ions will pick that one up. I want to point out, too, beautiful use of the summoners there. Thresh still has flash.
Yeah, that was a lot of mistakes coming on our red side. A lot of greed. The kind of thing that you learn playing bottom lane. You know not to stay against that hook. You know not to chase that far.
Did we just rip Zig?
No, it wasn't so much Zig. It was actually mostly the karma.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, like obviously he's playing the lane really well, but he just got too greedy, too eager to make that play.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? From both ADCs, I'm sure they calculated something in their head that was going to work out. But, you know, it was just one step closer on that trigger finger. Here we go, though. Dragon Raider finding Docta. Ultimate comes across, but only pulls the golem. And TF's going to jump in here as well. Throws that gold card, and it's going to be Mr. Jiggly with the auto attack to kill that one off. But again, it was just, honestly, going back to that bottom lane play, Graves, he had his finger right on the flash button, waiting for the flash to come out of Lucian, played it perfectly.
Yep, they were very calm and collected about it, and they played it perfect, exactly like you said.
Oh, yeah. Hashtag perfect play.
Yeah, it was really great use of summoners. That was, I think, the most impressive part.
Alright, so the blue buff, by the way, has been transferred over now, and I believe that it is TF that has it on him, or Oriana right now. We haven't looked at the mid lane in a little bit, but Anda just going hard here, you know, onto this Rise, and reasonably so, man. You gotta, you know, like you said, Rise trades so well. If you can do it while he's trying to farm, poke him down, man. Get some damage off.
The way that this game is going right now is that I don't think it's going to come down to comps or anything like that. Lanes are pretty even. Honestly, some are pushing, some are pulling, but I think it's just going to come to teamwork in this game and team movements.
For sure. Right now the laning phase is just being extended way farther than what we're used to seeing.
Yeah.
We're at the 9.5 minute mark, and surprisingly we're under 25 kills, which is very impressive for all these solo queue players.
Yeah,
Right.
Canadian mute points were aggressive, I guess.
Oh, hook coming out, and that's going to whiff there. That's going to set up Ions to take a beating from the turnaround there. Normalized, firing out Qs. And those Qs, man, they just hurt so much. Ions now goes in there, picks up some souls, and will not even stick around to get that third one. This is just way too risky. Meanwhile, Jarvan is in that bottom lane. I think he's probably going to line up a play relatively soon, too.
Yeah, he really needs to do something. The fights that they've been winning they're winning, but they're not really granting them that much advantage. And for him being that early game jungler, he really does need to make some plays against those non-mobile lanes.
Yeah, now push is continuing to happen across the board here. It looks like Jace has been doing a great job of pushing in this top lane, forcing Rise to use his mana to farm, which is always bad, and you can see he's just expending it.
Especially when he doesn't have a tier.
Yeah, and he's still not doing it, though. He just doesn't want tier on this character.
Yeah.
He's wrong.
I think what his thought process might be is that because maybe like you were saying, he's not a top lane player and he knows that he can't really carry. He just wants to play really safe and be like a disruptor, a tank. You know what I mean? Instead of that's third threat, and that basically makes sense. But you know, there's a reason people build Rise or tier on Rise.
Yes, it's just way too strong. Fits his character so perfectly, but instead he will be going towards that early Rod of Ages as we saw last time around. And now Dragon, it looks like everybody's posturing up for that one. Anda jumping onto OMG, I got ganked. And it's not working out so well. This is honestly the 5th time I've seen him fire at that Q without having an E behind it. Or in front of it, right?
Yeah, coming top.
Here we go, and he's going to teleport in here. Does not have flash available, but he gets the stun card off anyways. Needs to actually see Anda, but he pushes him back. Slow card, that'll do it. That'll pick up that kill for him, and he just pushes that wave down. Meanwhile, though, Dragon for the turnaround here as TF will not be involved. Ions catches up Signature. That's going to be a kill with the Flag and Drag. Is that Spider going to catch Dragon Raider? No, it's not. He's going to stand on top of this Dragon even still. Just looks to finish that one up. They pick up a kill from themselves, but on the back foot here, it looks like top lane will be dropped.
Yeah, well, definitely a mistake from Zig getting caught like that. It would have been a free trade, pretty much. Oh, they did get the teleport. Wow, they could have finished that tower. Okay, so they let him get the teleport back. Not the best trade for Red Team. Definitely a mistake. However, probably not going to make that big of a difference. Again, it's still going to be down to that team play. Right now, it's pretty even. As you can see, the goal difference is only about 1.5K, so.
By the way, we got to fix something up here that we should have done a little while ago. There we go. A lot easier to see how this is all matching up. One thing I'm impressed with, by the way, is the fact that Orianna is actually shelling out a lot of damage right now. Not something you typically see, though she is against some very, very squishy champions with no magic resist built across the entire board.
Yeah, she's farming really well. Unfortunately, she can't really keep TF in lane like a lot of other champions can. But she's getting the farm advantage, which is all you can really ask from her.
She's doing a really good job at that. And speaking of farm advantage, that top lane, though, really, really scary. Jace just pounding down on OMG, I got ganked. Jace, Elise, TF, all kind of posturing up towards that top side of the lane, but there's just way too many wards in the river right now. I don't think there's any plays going to be happening top lane for a long time.
Yeah, the thing about the Jace Rise matchup is that well, looks like they're trying to fight a little bit.
Yeah, and Rise really trying to out-exchange the Jace here. There's the EQ combo, but it will miss. Part of the problem there is with putting the gate out so far, the Q travels in slower time, right, before it hits the gate. So he just gave Rise that much more time to react. He needs to place the gate closer to his body.
Definitely makes sense.
And another fight breaking out here. Ion's getting the hook off onto Normalize here. He gets the shield on himself, and wow, getting pounded down by the culling here. Signature picks up that kill, and now he's fighting Tails. Is Tails going to be able to stop this one? No, Twisted Fate in there. Gold card, throws out the wild cards as well. Has that E-passive procced up. Mr. Jiggly leading the charge here, and it's a double kill for Lucy in this game. Just balance on a knife's edge right now. Only 400, 500 gold between them.
See, that's actually the problem, though, because Jarvan wasn't... Oh, it looks like we got another engagement going on top.
Jesus, pops the E, right? The W, rather, before going into the hammer mode. Gets those 3 really quick hammer attacks off, which is what you always want to do, and then pounds out that Rise, who is forced to flash away.
Sorry, as I was saying, you can't just let a TF have a free lane like that. You ganked him once, but that was it, and that's just what happens. He has so much global pressure that inevitably your lanes will fall behind.
Yep. And he's been doing a great job, by the way, of getting down towards that bottom lane. He's been top lane as well. You can see that hammer mode ripping it. He'd make an excellent lumberjack. He really would.
I was going to say about the Rise versus Jace matchup is usually it doesn't really matter if Rise is that far behind because he's going to outscale the opponent anyways. But the two things that I'm worried about... Oh, hold on, he's getting ganked too. Let's see if he can make it.
Yeah, EQ combo to start things off. There's the ultimate from Orianna. No chance. Just blown to pieces.
Yeah, so if he's this far behind, A, he doesn't have his tier, and B is against someone like Jace who does scale really well. Also, I'd like to point out the Watch Chalice, which is really cute. Gets the MR and the mana regen instead of having it built tier.
Wow.
It's obviously against a team that has that magic damage. It's a very good pickup by him, very smart. But Jace is going to scale equally as well as Rise does based on the way that he's building, if not better. So the CS advantage is actually a lot worse than you might normally think it would be on Rise.
Yeah, it's really, really a bad spot to be. He is building that Frozen Heart first, which is smart against the team comp that is up against 380 base champions.
Yep.
Good way to go. Not to mention Orianna having her attack speed slowed
Yeah,
is
for sure.
not going to hurt your team at all. Slow that one down.
The only thing is, though, he's delaying his rod still. I mean, it's 15 minutes and he still hasn't even got his rod.
Yeah.
Or it's here. So he's pretty much just a walk-in, at this point, like, tanky W bot, you know?
Yeah. Nice ward exchange happening here in the bottom side. Ion's going to lose that exchange, of course. Normalize steps in here, and we've just got some posturing happening across the board. Decent ward coverage in the river here. Pink wards everywhere across the map. Dragon side and Baron side for red team, and but they've got their whole red side warded up pretty deep.
Yeah, I'm not sure when the dragon is spawning, but Ryze does have TP, and he's in a position where he's able to freeze the lane top and hopefully get a little bit more back into the game. But that does just mean that Blue is put in a position where they need to do something with their very strong Jace, who's got that poke. He's got a perfect actual timing to be roaming because he just got his last whisper, has his chalice, can poke really hard. They just they need to make something happen with it. Actually, unfortunately, Ryze didn't freeze the lane properly, and it is pushing. That's a really big mistake from him, actually. He just gave up the advantage that he had, and now Jace could actually freeze the lane against him because he has teleport, making Ryze have an insane time and become even more useless than he is right now.
Poor Ryze.
Poor Ryze, man.
Oh man, I don't even know how he's going to be able to sleep tonight. Alright, so taking a look at the ADC items, you've got Graves ahead a little bit, and actually one thing we haven't really looked at here is the gold counts. So let's take a look at that. It's going to be Lucian 5,400 versus the 5,100 on Graves, so a pretty clear advantage happening there. One thing you always want to look at is the supports. That's going to basically show you where the global gold advantage is happening, and it looks like red side getting the better of it, and a lot of that coming from the Dragon as well, but only 200 CS ahead, not really a huge deal. As Dragon, I think this is going to be another Dragon.
Yeah, I think Ryze is probably going to go try and get Frozen Heart or maybe Rod, and then it's probably going to be a 5v5 fight because he knows that the Jace is really strong and wants to exert his dominance. So we'll see what's going to happen here. We got the TF ult coming down. Let's get vision on the Dragon.
I don't know though that they're going to commit to this one. Yeah,
they
Jace is there to
should
back
not
him
for
off.
sure. Yeah, it's not worth fighting when it's that risky against a team that's already secured the objective, especially when it's possible that they are ahead.
Alright, so we're just going to step forward here. Jace, a really fantastic character for sieging. Beautiful EQ combo, lands onto normalizing Mr. Jiggly. But with Elise there to fire out that long-range W, as well as Twisted Fate, one of the best wave clearers in the game. Arguably the best wave clearer in the game, even still after his nerfs. It's going to be really tough to continue this siege down, even though you've got Orianna and Jace. In fact, they're actually going to back off here.
Yeah, I mean, Red Team has kind of made a few mistakes this game, not being there in time to contest the Dragon, not taking advantage of the way that the lanes are moving, and the fact that your Ryze could freeze and sort of make them force a fight. They're definitely being reactive instead of making the map play the way they want. And luckily, Jace didn't freeze it on it. He pushed it back as they did want to force the Dragon. However, there's opportunities that aren't being taken advantage here, and it's unfortunate, but these are the kind of things that you need to see from a championship team, right?
Absolutely, and definitely one thing you don't want to see is, again, I have to keep going back to it, that top lane though, Jace so far ahead up there, and now that tower is cracked, we've got, again, a pretty even game going right now, 38,000 to 27.8, not really a huge deficit, and as the game goes on, it's going to mean less and less and less as we keep going here.
Yeah.
What move, if you're on either team right now, what moves are you trying to make here to put yourselves in a better position?
What they really need to do is siege up with that Jace. They need to take advantage of the poke, and even though they do have that wave clear, if they can poke enough and then get like a good Orianna ulti or like a Jarvan dive, things that he's really good at, that's what they should be focusing on while the Ryze tries to get back in the game, or force him mid and keep him behind like that. You could also maybe like on Red Team, they have the opportunity to make picks with TF, right? So they could be waiting to have like a teleport TF pick, ward up their jungle, that kind of thing. They need to make it a situation where Blue Team isn't actually able to set up in siege. That would be their goal right now, and get Ryze back in the game. Unfortunately, they're both grouping, and what's going to happen is Jace is just going to poke, and they're going to dive eventually with Jarvan Orianna. So unless something happens that changes that, it's going to be bad. So yeah, they're going to engage right away.
Yeah, Doctor getting jumped on here. Where's that repel? She finally gets it off. She's still floating in the air. Ions, though, getting chased back here and killed by OMG. I got ganked. In the middle, though, Anda finds Mr. Jiggly. No Zonias for him quite yet. Not turning into that Reginald build, but in the bottom lane here, it looks like Tails getting the split push off. It's going to be a 2-for-1. One tower exchange in the bottom lane here, and they're going to trade that for mid turret, and they're going to keep going here. Tier 2 about to fall if Jace doesn't stop this. Teleport comes in, though. Or, sorry, Jarvan, I mean. Teleport comes in. Cocoon goes out before he can get the drag part of the flag and drag. And they will back off here. So a 1-for-1 turret exchange and a 1-for-1 kill exchange. These guys know what they're doing, man.
Yeah, no, that was really great. The fact that they used the TF ulti to assist with that engage to avoid themselves getting poked down. I mean, Ryze is still great. He's got that W. You cannot underestimate the strength of that ability. And he's still tanky. He's got AoE. He's still a great champion for team fights. And avoiding being poked down, I can't say how important that was. Being able to engage like that right away really saved them a lot of ping and kept the game on its toes now. They have room to breathe.
So is it safe to say that Ryze is the biggest factor? The fact that he's so far behind is probably the biggest factor in this game?
I think the way that he's built, he probably won't ever get to the point that he normally would unless the game goes to 65 minutes and he has time to build a tier at 30 minutes or whatever.
Oh.
He's not going to, like, you need the time to scale up on Ryze, and because he didn't get that, he's just probably not ever going to get there, you know what I mean? I think the real thing is that both Twisted Fate and Lucian scale very well. They're both hyper carries, and Elise is always relative with her percentage health damage. It's those hyper carries against probably the Jace Graves and maybe like dependent on an Orianna ulti. Because Orianna, she doesn't scale incredibly well. Her utility is fantastic all game. But I think it's just going to wind up being like a battle of the carries and the poke versus the engage.
Alright, I definitely could see that happening. One thing, obviously, is that there is counter poke potential from, just again, Twisted Fate and the Elise. It's just not nearly as much as what they're up against. So it's going to be good for wave clear. I don't know how well they're going to do, though, if it breaks out into a fight. Waiting for that JCQ as the Orianna QW comes. Oh, and a huge shutdown. Beautiful play from a massive distance, and we were just talking about the poke war. Blown to pieces here is Lucian, and Thresh has got to be laughing about this one as he stares at the dead man's wife through his lantern here. But nice stuff, takes down that kill, and that's going to transfer into a turret. Tails leading the charge on that one. Amazing, honestly. The command attack dissonance and then the EQ from Jace, that's enough to kill a character.
Yeah, you can't underestimate the siege quickness. Oh, they're setting up for a pick here. This could be really big. Oh, nice ward from Karma.
Yeah, and the Twisted Fate ult.
Yeah, that was really good. Really good, just like understanding and that sixth sense, you know, that the players have.
Yep.
But we can't underestimate how quickly they can take towers down too, right? Not only do they have the attack speed increase from Jarvan, they have the speed increase on Jace's W and on Graves' dash. So they have like a lot of attack speed and can take those towers down really quickly as soon as they get that advantage of Poke.
Yep. Speaking of Poke, pretty decent job there being done by Karma, who I kind of ruled out. I didn't even think about, but her Poke and her wave clear is huge. Twisted Fate, though, goes down towards that bottom lane. And the top lane actually, and he's just pushing in here. He might be able to grab an inhibitor, or at least the inhib turret, but they're trying to force him to stay.
If they can make a play, maybe with a Ryze TP here, and get a kill on the Jace somehow. Oh, he got the tower. That's really impressive. Good for them, and they're going to be able to get a free dragon as well. So that's obviously taking advantage of Twisted Fate's pushing power.
Yeah, wow, that was really, really nice there. Considering that Twisted Fate really isn't a huge deal right now. He's got the Rabadons, he doesn't have Zhonya, so in terms of team fights, he's still just going to remain just a super squishy champion. And even though he can get in there deep, do you really want to when you've got no Zhonyas? Probably not.
Yeah, they're going to need to focus on the Jarvan, and I think he'll be able to go in a little bit. But really great plays from Red. Actually, both teams are playing their comps the way that they should be. You know, they're getting the engages, they're utilizing the split push. It looks like Ryze has finally got his Rod of Ages. So hopefully he'll have some time to get that fully stacked.
Yeah.
And yeah, once we see Lucian pick up his Trinity Force, he'll have a huge power spike. It is pretty delayed, honestly, at this point. 25 minutes to not have both. That is kind of late, but... Okay, so he's got it now. He's got it now. He just picked it up finally.
Yeah, yeah. He's everybody's kind of getting there, and you can see the full item stock on the blue side here. Most importantly, I definitely think it's going to be that Orianna. She's got Rabadons for herself and Athenes. Need Athenes. Graves right now rocking the Bloodthirster and Last Whisperer. He's going for a build that's going to accent his ability kit as opposed to being a straight up duelist with his auto attacks like most AD carries would be. Jace runs up towards the top lane here. Twisted Fate, though, I think he just used his ultimate to make sure that Baron wasn't being done as it was.
He was pushing bottom and he had to teleport mid. I think that's what they were trying to do. Blue side was trying to force him to use his teleport, but really great rotations by them moving into mid. They might be able to get a free tower here, actually. Lucian does have that Triforce.
Yeah, and they've got this whole top side blocked off. Thresh, though, gets the hook onto OMG. I got ganked, but he can't use the second part of it. It's just a little bit too risky there. Lucian throws out the culling. Is it going to be enough? Moves forward here with that slide, and they pick up that blue turret. This is so back and forth, this game.
Yeah.
I am loving it right now. OMG, I got ganked. Takes that EQ to the face, and with that Frozen Heart, nice cocoon. The Q not going to be able to move him once he's stunned up there. And OMG, I got ganked. Again, takes a beating for his team here. Docta forced to repel here, and the rest of his team is going to need to move in, but nice Q. Beautiful timing on that buckshot.
Big mistakes coming out from Jarvan, unfortunately. You can actually, I'm pretty sure that the difference in time between basing while you're inside your base and running towards your fountain is actually about 2 seconds.
You know what?
So,
I did a video on that.
Yeah?
Yeah, and actually the point that he was at, if he would have ran, it would have been a lot faster.
Yeah.
Way faster.
And not only that, he was in their face after dashing across the wall, and yeah, I mean, that was just a huge mistake. Totally lost all advantage they had. And now they don't even really have a situation, like Ryze, is not that far behind the Jace anymore. Sure, it looks like that in CS, but in terms of where the game is at right now, like people have been able to get their sustain, get their armor, get that kind of thing. It's just not as big of a factor anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's really great the way that the red team is playing. They're definitely. Oh, here we go, Jace. Let's see if we can make a pick.
Yeah, he's got the Q. He's got the slow going on him, and he knocks him back. Goes into that gun mode.
That's really big. That was another huge mistake by Ryze. He does have TP, but they are going to definitely try and force the Baron off this.
Yeah, Twisted Fate, he has ultimate available, so he'll be able to get there relatively quickly. And they haven't even started yet, so it looks like they're actually not going to go for
Graves is actually in the mid lane.
Yeah. Ions takes a beating from the Baron, from the Karma Q.
But yeah, like I was saying, red team is definitely, they're forcing the blue team to not be able to actually use their comp to its advantage. They're kind of countering their power spikes by making proper map movements, like they did when they sent the TF top to expose that tower, and you know when they moved into the mid and they made them engage instead of being able to poke down. It's really good play, and it's very flexible. You know what I mean? They're adapting to the situation and they're handling the power spikes properly, adequately.
Yeah, it's definitely going very, very well for them. Nice use of the Oracle's lens, clearing 2 bushes at once, so they only spot a pink ward out, so they didn't even need to use it. But the fact that both teams are right now fighting over map control of that Baron area is very, very key here. Both of the top laners have teleport, and it is available. So, you know, them being in the bottom lane, not going to be a big deal here. We could see a full-blown fight in this Baron area very shortly here. Now, Muskie, if they fight in Baron area, who has the advantage?
If the Orianna lands a huge ult on the mobile targets like we were talking about before, then they definitely have the advantage. But they don't get to poke, and that's what they want to do. They want to take advantage of that. It's not necessarily a full poke comp, but the Jace got so strong so early that they can still use that as their comp, right? It's like having a nil. You can fight without poking, but if you can, you want to, you know, you're just not as effective if you can. Obviously, Jace is different because he's an AD sustained damage champion, but...
Yeah, and he's actually, speaking of Jace here, he's going for the kill on Ryze. Ryze actually popped his ultimate to run a little bit faster there, so he's going to get away. Pretty passive, though, I gotta say, for the last, honestly, for the last 10 minutes. Not a whole ton happening here, as we're just kind of waiting here. It's the eye of the storm, waiting for a fight to break out, and both teams they're undefeated at this point, are they not?
I think so. I think a little bit of a mistake that's going on right now, though, from the blue side, is that they're focusing too much around the Baron. And maybe it's not a mistake because they are being split pushed like this, but they can't be forced into these objectives. They need to have the ward coverage to kind of like counteract it.
And Signature actually takes an EQ. Not that big though. I'm expecting the Jace EQs to do a lot more damage, but he doesn't have.
His power spike, his snowball stopped. You know what I mean? It's not he didn't keep getting there. He's had the same damage items since he left lane 10-15 minutes ago.
And he's got Mikhail's Crucible too.
He does, which is it's a good item, but it's not gonna help your poke, right? Like it's not another Bloodthirster or something like that, you know? It's not whatever that tier upgrade is.
Muramana.
Yeah,
Mana
that one.
Muramunum.
Yeah.
Yeah, not having that is a pretty big deal, and you know,
it's just he's not gonna keep scaling from where he is right now. You know, he's probably gonna get like a Guardian's Angel or a Banshee's Veil or something like that. And that's the thing, right? Like TF has gotten way stronger. He's gotten a Lich Bane, you know. Ryze is working. He's got his tier now. He's probably gonna go for a Void stat. So scaling is better on terms of red side. It's just the burst is a lot better on blue side.
Yeah, and you know we've seen it go both ways. Obviously, it's still balanced pretty well here. Actually, I would argue that it is perfectly balanced.
Look at the world. It's completely even.
That's crazy, and it's kind of weird to think about it though, because the global objectives like Dragon and Baron would have gone to blue side a lot more, but with the 7-4 turret lead, that's a major factor here, and they're you know very strategically getting those picks on turrets, not just champions. For red side, they're just picking off these turrets left and right. Now though, it's so important to keep control over this Baron area, and there's only one ward out right now. Twisted Fate is pretty deep in the enemy side, and Ryze is pushing bot. A big problem for red team here on Zig is our LG is that the fact that Jace beats the crap out of Ryze, like we're seeing here, and he's getting in there, flashes away actually, and he's just gonna get the crap kicked out of him here. Gets the knockback, and Jace just obliterates Ryze here. Now is a great opportunity for blue team to go for Baron now that Jace has teleport and Ryze is down.
Yeah, with a $4,000 gold difference, I mean, there's not much you can do.
But it looks like they're just going to play it passively, so they're just going to walk over here, clear a ward, and I don't doubt that they're just going to back up. But teleport comes in, and no, they will go against my ideas for them, and they will actually go for it. So beautiful start on this one. Ryze 24 seconds down.
Really quickly for sure. They've got a lot of sustained damage coming out with those two auto attack carries.
Yeah, and in comes Twisted Fate. Fight's about to break out here. Elise repels. She doesn't go over the wall though. She has flash. There it is. She gets the steal on the Baron. She's gonna go down here. Can the rest of the team get away though? And it looks like they definitely will. Ions.
Is that Doctor?
Yeah, that was absolutely crazy. Beautiful smite steal there. And when both jungles are up, man, it's like a 50-50.
Yeah. At least obviously she has the execute, but that was crazy. Great steal.
Absolutely nuts there. And she did use the Q, by the way. And actually, I don't know if we could get a replay going on that one. I'm sure we're looking into that. I want to see if it was just the smite. I just want to watch the timing on that one because that was absolutely nuts. No pushes coming down when you've got a situation like this. Typically, it's going to be all slowed down from here. But we will go into that replay and see that Baron steal. So yeah, Doctor just goes in there. Actually, that was pretty quick. We'll go back a little bit further here. So yeah, Doctor's just chilling over that wall right now. Ward's being picked off. Andy, you can see, picks that one off. Doctor uses the repel to see what's going on over the wall right now because there's no vision outside of her repel. Lands back down. Knows she can't go in just yet. Times it out. Beautiful with the Q and the smite combo.
The Jarvan was actually caught in his animation and wasn't able to do it. That was beautiful.
Yeah, amazing play there. And actually, we've got OMG, I got ganked fighting with Andy here, and you know how that goes. Crazy.
Yeah. Really great play. I was going to say that red side, they actually did miss an opportunity to kind of make a play when the other team did, when blue team was checking around Dragon. Unfortunately, they just didn't have the site to take advantage of the team splitting. And I was worried because I thought that they might have kind of thrown the game a little bit there. But Doctor coming out big and absolutely putting his team on his back and making sure that they're still in this.
Well, you can, you know, if you don't skip leg day, especially as a spider, you got a lot of strength backing you up. Leg day, of course, takes a little bit longer, but you know that's what Stairmasters are for. Squat racks.
So it looks like they're probably just going to try and wait out the Baron. The score is still pretty even. 1,000 gold difference at 35 minutes isn't much. And we should take a look at the gold count actually here and see where the gold is. So Jace is 5k ahead of the Rise.
Yep.
There's a 2k gold difference in the mid lanes, and the supports are actually a little bit of a gold difference as well. Everything else is pretty even. The 80 carries in the jungles are pretty spot on.
Now, I gotta ask here, because from what I've seen out of all the tournaments that I've watched OMG I Got Ganked, and this is a real point here, he can do pretty well in the top lane, but where he really thrives is just with his teamwork and getting in there. Now, what is it, do you think, about Rise that allows him to offer something to his team that somebody else wouldn't, such as Rumble or something like that?
Well, it's not that he's not offering stuff to his team with not getting a tier and that kind of thing. It's just, it's not optimal, you know what I mean? It's not, you're not going to get the same amount of... Oh, here comes the engage.
Yeah, actually, Jarvan, leading the charge on this one, just takes an absolute beating when he goes too hard here.
Yeah, so all I was saying is that he'll still do damage. He's still... his kit is just so good with his ability to scale with defensive items. It's just he's not going to do as much damage as if he got the tier first, right? So like his thought process was just to make sure, stop the bleeding, stop getting, don't die, don't feed the Jace, you know, just build. Got the hook on the Elise.
Yeah, and it's just going to be a turnaround. The hook came out, or the hook landed rather, as soon as the cocoon was coming out, so Ions couldn't finish up the that last bit of the queue. Now, it is really tense here. There's a pretty sizable advantage in terms of positioning and that Baron buff, and there's a lot going for these guys here on red side. They've got 2 open inhibitors. I don't know, man. I can't see this going very well for blue side unless they can land that long range poke to start out.
Yeah, I think if we get 2 Void Staffs coming out from Rise and Twisted Fate, which I assume that's what he's building with his blasting one, it's going to be a huge power spike, and blue team's going to be in trouble, for sure. I still haven't seen an insane Orianna ult to kind of, like, you know, turn the tides of the fight, and if she isn't able to pull one out, then I don't know. I don't know if they'll be able to make any insane, clean team fight wins that would allow them to kind of get back in the game. 2 towers down, 2 inhibitors open. That's not something that's easy to come back from, even if they're not down. The pressure that you can have from somebody like Twisted Fate, who has the ability to split push and you know, like, threaten that inhib, it's huge. It's hard to come back from. So
yeah, another thing to note here as well, Elise building really non-standard here. She's not going for any kind of damage. Cooldown purely for utility, so she can get more stuns off, more poke out, but she's not going to be dealing a whole lot of damage. On the opposite end, though, or actually, sorry, on the same side, I gotta mention, this is the best use of distortion boots that I've ever seen. Only because you are rocking the Ghost and Flash. You don't typically see that.
For sure. Sorry, what was I gonna say? I just blanked. My apologies.
No, that's okay. Warding on the map right now for blue side, a lot stronger than red, but I think red is just comfortable in the fact that they have a pretty sizable advantage. Ping's going down on where TF ulted, and he ulted in a really odd spot. Just kind of in the enemy jungle there, and he just decides to go wave clearing. This is really tense. Baron buff has worn out, though, so I would say that's a victory for blue team.
I do remember what I was going to say now. I was going to say the Elise build is actually a Minio style build. I wasn't sure if Dr. opted to max E second, but once they changed Elise, they lowered the cooldowns and made her E up more frequently, and that's what Minios did for a lot of the games in the NA finals a couple weeks ago, with the CDR boots first and the CDR build and max E second after Q to just be like an insane CC bot. And that's really smart because, like we were saying, they do have the 2 hyper carries in the Twisted Fate with Lichbane and Delusion.
Yeah, and we're seeing an attempt at an engage here. Beautiful hook onto Signature. Down he goes, and they needed that because TF was in the top lane there. OMG, I got ganked. He's going to get jumped on here with the Jarvan ultimate as well. Cocoon goes down, but unreal damage from Orianna. We're going to see an inhibitor exchanged here as Jace is going to go back, but I'm sure they're going to pick up the middle inhibitor in favor of blue team here. Crazy action out of nowhere. When they saw Twisted Fate bot, I think what they were planning on red team was just to have them teleport back to the enemy team here. And actually, he's going to teleport to this second inhibitor. He's going to keep pounding this one down. And no, it's actually going to be a base race. He's going to go for the Nexus. He swaps back. This is going to be a crazy finish here. TF is opting to go for that second inhib. And is he going to pick it up? He's got the Lichbane going for him, so he's going to pick it off pretty quickly. Cocoon goes out. They need to slow down the damage coming down onto
seconds.
their Nexus. Yeah, 15 coming up for Lucian. 12 now. Is it going to be enough? Jace, best 1v1 on the team right now, and he's going to teleport back into the fray here as Twisted Fate needs to run here. He's teleporting back as well.
They got it.
Nexus
They
is
got
going
the
down
damage.
though. Orianna uses that ultimate. Crazy ending to that one out of nowhere. I could have saw that game going for another 15 minutes, but beautiful timing, beautiful communication. They knew they needed to make a play then. And honestly, it's nobody's fault on Red Team. They just got positioned in the end.
Yeah, that one catch just turns it all around. That's why you got Thresh, man. One hook changes the game.
Oh my god.
But the, like I was saying before, the attack speed coming out of Graves, the attack speed coming out of the Jace, they were able to burst that tower down like nothing, you know? They took that Nexus out in 1 second.
Nuts. That was crazy. So,
Really good play calling from them. Really good.
wow. It was like, honestly, that was so dry for like 10 minutes. It was just like, it just plateaued. Like, there was nothing going on there, and just instantly the game was done. So, not to mention, they won the game with 2 inhibitors down right at the end there. So,
For sure, yeah, no, that was fantastic. Incredible.
good play. Both sides. I'm excited for next game. And
VIP Thresh, man. Or, sorry, MVP Thresh.
I got to apologize to Dave here.